I heard that somebody had jury duty.
Oh my God, yes.
And that somebody has some thoughts on how to fix our system. Is that could that be Robert Rose?
Who's okay. All right. It's not time for rants and raves yet, but
okay.
So yes, I had jury service yesterday, which of course, you do your thing. I don't know if it works the same way in Ohio, but the way it works here in California is you have to call in Sunday night and basically you get like a message that says you have to show up tomorrow morning. And then you have to do that every day of the week.
Yes,
while
same
your
thing.
jury
Same
service
process.
week here. Okay. Yeah. So I call in Sunday night. You don't have to show up. Yes. Monday night, I call. You don't have to show up. Yes. Tuesday night, I call. You got to show up. It's like, and it's just so deflating, right? Because now all of a sudden you have to cancel every meeting. You have to rearrange your whole day because you're going to be there at least that day, right?
Yeah.
So I show up, the whole thing. It's like and you just, I just kept thinking as I'm waiting, there has to be a technology solution for this. There has to be a better way because you go into this big room with 60 other people into this giant waiting room like the DMV, and you just sit there until they're ready for court. And of course you have to show up at 8:45, but they're not ready for court until 11. So you literally have to just sit there from 8:45 until 11 doing nothing. Then they go, okay, great. We're going to call you into court. And you have to, again, get your number. Then they walk over to the courtroom, and then you go and you sit down and wait some more for the judge to show up. Then the judge shows up and everybody showed up in the courtroom. Then they bring you in and they sit you down. And what happened to me this time, and apparently this rarely happens because now it's 11:45, almost 10 minutes of noon. And the judge goes, hey, it's 15 minutes to lunchtime. So sending you off to lunch, be back at 1:45. So now you have to go cool your jets for another 2 hours to just sit there and wait. And then what happened when we came back, which I guess is pretty rare, and thankfully, I mean, it was like magic was working. Basically, I got back and they said, hey, this never happens. But during lunch, the court case settled. Basically, the criminal case settled. And you're all done. You can go home. So I was home by 3:30, almost 4 o'clock. But the point I'm sitting there cooling my jets for 2.5, 3 hours. And I'm like, there has to be a better way. There just has to be a better way to do this.
I mean, I don't know. It sounds like you checked the box. You did. Thank you for your service, and you don't have to come back for a while. This
18 months apparently. 18 months apparently. But so I wasn't glad to do it, but I'm not going to try and skip out of it, right? Because I do believe it's my duty to serve. But the uncertainty of it is what is, if they said there should be a way that you're either pre-screened out or you come in and you're going to serve and you're going to be considered. I know you can't guarantee you're going to be on a case, but you at least know you're going to be considered and you're going to boom, boom. So you can plan your week. So you can basically say, look, I'm going to not schedule anything or trips or anything like that so that I know that this is the week that I have to defend to it. So it's like, there just has to be a better way.
There's not.
It's 2025.
No, there'll never be a better way. This is it. This is it. Your situation was the best I've heard of ever.
Yeah. Yeah. And
so you're ranting about like the best outcome you could ever.
I know. I'm a first world problem for sure. Yes, I get it. I'm privileged. I get it.
Anyways, Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And now for your listening pleasure, here's Polizzi and Rose, covering the week of media, marketing, and digital content news. Take it away, boys.
Well, hello, friends. Welcome to This Old Marketing, proudly brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. And I'm Robert Rose. And with me, as usual, is my pal, my colleague, and second runner-up to People Magazine's Sexiest Man of the Year, Mr. Joe Polizzi.
That's so funny. There's no way.
You're pretty sexy. You're pretty sexy.
In marketing circles, maybe
you got that sexy dad vest going on for you this morning.
What do I have?
The sexy dad vest. Yeah.
Oh, this is nice, isn't it?
Yeah. I half expect you to be in
not watching. Oh, I got the I got the Browns T-shirt on here, which is fantastic. You can see the
and you got that
terminal tower.
It's the dad vest that makes it, though. The dad, and if you're wearing cargo shorts and like sandals with socks on, I think you would have that would be the chef's kiss perfect outfit for you.
It's actually pretty darn close. If I was wearing shorts at all, that's probably what I would be wearing. But we're not gonna go there. This is a clean family show.
Yeah.
But no, you know what's funny? I must be just getting to that age. I love this vest because
it's a nice vest. I'm a kid, but it's a nice vest.
But when I'm out and it's like it's fallish weather and it's in the 50s or low 60s or something like that, the first thing that
you do get cold. You do get chilly.
No, I do get cold, but my chest area is the first thing that gets cold. So now that I have this puffy vest covering, I don't get cold. I don't get as cold on the arms. So I mean, I'm feeling like I'm preparing for Cleveland fall weather by wearing the dad vest.
There you go.
And I feel really good about my decisions. Although I do get looks like, is that really what you're wearing today?
it's a tech bro thing. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it's a very Silicon Valley tech bro sort of. The vest is in fact, it's the reason my wife won't let me have one. Like I kind of wanted one of those Patagonia vest things.
Mm-hmm.
And I put one on every time I go into a store that they have those things, and I put them on. My wife just goes, no, that's not, you are not turning into a Silicon Valley tech bro. That's just not going to happen. So that's
my wife.
I'm forbidden, basically. I'm forbidden from having those things.
Yeah, but my wife doesn't say words. She just looks at me. Look where she doesn't say I can't get something. She gives me the look, and that look means you can get it.
Yeah, sure.
I won't be seen with you.
That's right.
That's what that means.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I mean, I could live with that sometimes.
It's that quiet disapproval that we can't live with. Yeah. That's the real sneaky way.
Yeah. So besides jury duty, how was your week? Did I mean, I'm sorry about Monday Night Football.
Well, yeah. And I mean, we can't talk football. I mean, there was a very sad thing that happened this morning, literally, as we take this breaking news.
Literally minutes, like an hour or something.
It's awful. That's just awful and sad. Marshawn Kneeland, for those of you who don't follow football at all, who is basically the only bright spot of the game that they played against the Cardinals, was that Marshawn Kneeland, who was a defensive lineman, blocked a punt and then basically fell on the ball in the end zone and scored a touchdown. First touchdown of his career. He's 2 seasons in, and passed away last night.
Do you know
last night? They're not saying, which leads me to believe that it's not a good thing. So
yeah, when I read the comments from the agent, it sounded like it was self-imposed. It's horrible.
Just so sad. It's 24 years old and all of that stuff. But anyway, yes, that's that. Other than that, the week has been fine. So back to doing a comedy show. But yeah,
exactly. We can't talk about serious things on this show. I think the more that we talk about things that are not serious, the better it is for everyone listening.
Totally. This is an escape route. Yeah.
It is. We can't really talk about like marketing.
No, not like serious marketing.
Not. I mean,
people start taking us seriously, we're in real trouble.
Yeah, something like that. But anyways, just so a couple things with my week. First of all, greatest football week I've had in a long time because the Browns were on a bye week.
Yeah, there you go.
So I felt good about not having the loss or watching that. I was talking with my son about it, and he said, I had a much better weekend. I'm like, that happens. It happens when it's not football season and on a bye week. But I wanted, you were nice enough to send me the note. I finished my half marathon in Cocoa Beach.
Amazing.
And hit my PR. I was like 2.8 miles I had to run on sand, though.
I don't understand what that means.
So basically, so for those of you that don't know, a half marathon is 13.1 miles. So I'm running 13.1 miles. And the first 9 miles is on concrete. You're just running down A1A. That's all you're doing. You're straight ahead, stay right at the cone so a car doesn't hit you. It's fine. You get into this little development area and then you're headed to the beach. You hit mile 9 and you go over and you go on the beach. You're running on the beach. So the first thing is you have like 200, 300 yards of sand. And when I'm not talking about like padded down sand. I'm talking about like sand is very, very difficult to run in
very
that.
different. It's very different running. I know that.
Especially after you've run 9 miles.
9 miles,
you're tired.
right.
You're like, and then you get into maybe the worst surface to run on. So then you got to get as close to the water as you can. So it's tamped down.
Yeah.
So that you're not like slaloming through.
Sure. Yeah.
So we did that, and I ran that like 2.5 miles, and then I thought I was going to pull something because to get back off the beach, there was I don't know. In my head, it's like 3 feet. It was probably a foot that I had to jump over to get back onto, common ground, if you will.
But you saw a hurdle, basically.
And it looked like a hurdle.
Yeah.
And I look at it and I'm like, do I have to like go over it head first? I don't know if I can jump high enough to make it, or maybe like do a tuck and roll or something. I didn't know what to do, but I just did a regular jump, and I thought my calf was going to like just lay there. I think it was just going to come like fly off my body, and my calf was going to be gone. So then I'm limping back to the concrete, 1.5 miles more, made it, finished. But it was interesting. It ended where they filmed part of I Dream of Jeannie for those people who are really old.
Oh, wow.
And so a lot of people were dressed up as the genie or Major Nelson.
Okay.
Coming through the finish line. So there you go.
That's a fun fact that I don't care about, but it's good
so
stuff. Yeah.
It's 3 minutes that people can never get back. Me just telling that story. I apologize, but it was beautiful. Running on the beach reminded me. I was running on the beach and I'm looking at the sun's rising. I actually thought about that moment in Forrest Gump where he's running through and he's seeing the mountains, and I mean, it was beautiful. But then I had to remember that I was actually running the same time.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Okay.
You guys, next time I start talking about running, just fast forward 3 minutes to the part where we start talking about decent
the show.
things.
Should we talk about the show? Should we?
Sure.
We
want to keep anybody listening.
Yeah,
probably.
Of course. Yeah, but we've already lost all the YouTubers at this point.
That's true. That happens in the first 30 seconds.
Exactly. All right, we've got some good stuff to talk about. It is another AI sort of themed show. We've got Xania Monet is the first AI Billboard artist. Or is she, or is it? It's probably good that we get those pronouns right for Xania Monet. Coke, by the way, says that it's got a new AI ad for the holidays, and they're really hoping people are going to like it more. We'll talk about that. Then we'll have an analysis, 18 million jobs. We'll see actually what AI is replacing, some new research out on that. And where does podcasting go from here? Interesting article in Marketing Brew that talks about the current status of podcasting and what might be coming down the road. Then we'll get to our winners and losers, where I will pick a winner. That is the USA Today new branding effort. Joe's going to talk a little bit about how print, shocking, I know that's going to be shocking for all of you, is a new long-term long-term trend. It's been a long-term trend for a long time now. So
I'm calling this.
Yeah, maybe
again.
Yeah,
let's go.
And then we'll get to our Rants and Raves, where I'm going to rave a little bit about this new service for journalists and helping them monetize themselves. And you're going to talk about college, double majors these days, and what might be most popular for a future job hunter.
There you
go. I think it's some good stuff, some really positive stuff that we'll have on the show today. But there we go. All right, let's start. Let's get to it. Let's get to this big story here.
Before we start on this one,
okay.
I'm gonna go and show this page.
We're
talking about, this is CNN. I can only see the headline here because the advertisement is taking up a full half.
Yeah.
I have a large screen here. Man, I can make it smaller, but I have to complain about it.
What's funny?
What's going on with these ads?
Here's the amazing thing. It's unbelievable that this is CNN now. For me, the page never fully renders. I could be on this page for 5 minutes while we do our story here. The page will never fully render. It's just
because it's trying to pull all these ads.
It's trying to pull all these ads and sort of all the different third-party content that's coming in. And I mean, I have to imagine this page is megabytes big. I mean, it's just it's amazing.
Well, when we get to the next one is from
Oh, it's
Billboard.
even worse. Yeah.
Like my computer, which is a pretty decent computer
Yeah.
the kids made for me, it's crippled.
Yeah.
And it's always Billboard because they have 17,000 ads that
Yeah.
they're throwing up at you. Anyways,
Yeah.
I just had to rant about that a little bit.
Yeah,
Now you may go.
There you go. Okay, so let's look at this as a headline here, coming to us courtesy of the CNN site.
Yeah.
Is Xania Monet is the first AI-powered artist to debut on a Billboard airplay chart, but she likely won't be the last. Artificial intelligence is everywhere, it says, and the music charts are no different. According to Billboard, and that's a linked article there, an AI singer named Xania Monet is the first AI artist to earn enough radio airplay to debut on a Billboard radio chart. So far, Monet has appeared on multiple Billboard charts since first releasing a song in summer of 2025, including the hot gospel songs for her song Let Go, Let God, and the hot R&B songs chart for her song How Was I Supposed to Know? According to the publication. Now, apparently, according to Billboard, she's been signed to a multi-million-dollar record deal with Hollywood media after what Billboard called a bidding war. Hollywood has long been worried about the ramifications of AI, and then it goes on, talking about the AI actress Tilly Norwood, et cetera, et cetera. Monet was designed by Talisha Nikki Jones, a poet from Mississippi who writes the lyrics Monet is seen performing. Now, I went and also watched CBS News, and Gayle King did an interview with her, and I have a whole take on this. But what is your what are your thoughts?
I didn't see I want to hear about the interview.
Yeah.
So my quick take on this is whether it's the first or not. There's some people that say that is it? Do we say it?
It's absolutely it. It's not a person.
It's not a person. But people don't care. I guess my point is people don't care.
Well, that's
I would imagine how it happens is that however they find the feed, whether it's coming through TikTok or YouTube or Spotify or whatever, it's coming through to them and they don't know. They don't know if it's human or not. And I think that's the same way it is with regular, non-music content creation.
Mm-hmm.
Whether people are saying you got all these faceless channels today, or if it's not a faceless, it's just some made up avatar, and they're creating all sorts of content. It's coming from different large language models, whatever the case is. People are getting this content served to them, and they ultimately do not care whether it's a human or not. And the people I think I'm most frustrated with when I see people on LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever, and they say, no, it's always got to be human content. And I'm like, you don't know. Right. You don't know. It's like, are we going to get to, we might get to that point where this is like the housekeeping seal that this is human made content only, or there's no AI tools to create this, but I don't think that's going to last. It's going to be short term. People just are going to get the content they're going to get. And the thing that, and I wanted your take on this, but my thought is the labels can now do anything. The label, I mean, you could get a song every day from this artist. You could get all sorts of different renditions and versions
100%.
or whatever, because they could work longer and harder. I guess hard. I don't know. Work it because
it's not hard. Let's just be clear.
Well, no, it's not that. But okay. So what does this mean? First of all, you're in the music. I mean, you've been around.
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's the thing. So as I don't have it. So, I mean, and there's so much meta built into this, right? Because I have been doing exactly what she has been doing. The Nikki, or forgetting her name off the top of my head, but the actual artist, if you will, behind this, because Xania Monet is just an AI. So it isn't it, but the artist behind it, the poet, the lyric writer, I'm doing the same thing, right? I'm doing
Nikki Jones.
Yeah. The only thing I'm doing that I'm not doing that she's doing, at least yet, is putting it on, like marketing it, like putting it on Spotify and pretending like it's a real thing, and actually making, a promotional campaign around the personality, et cetera, et cetera. In other words, I haven't given because we do different genres of music for our little ad run, which is a comedy bit. But so I haven't gotten a singular persona around that yet and called it a band or a person or an artist or whatever, and then trying to make a buck off of it. And I don't have any problem with that. I really don't. My issue, and it's a rant that I've gone on this show and done before, and it's a rant I'll probably do again this show, is the lack of journalistic integrity around trying to build off of the anthropomorphizing of the actual AI. Let's just call it what, I don't care about it, but call it what it is, right? She is the artist, right? And if she wants to market herself as the artist, fine. She's the artist that is creating these creations using AI tools or otherwise. And that is who got signed. Xania Monet did not get signed to a multi-million-dollar bidding war deal. And by the way, if it really was a multi-million-dollar bidding war, it wasn't. I'm sure that's a press release. And I'm sure the record company basically picked her up and said, "Ooh, it's going to, we'll get way more press."
You can create another AI label that creates at a bidding war.
Exactly. I mean, it's the same thing we talked about last week with the whole Sam Altman and money, and the basically spending $100 billion with Google with WPP, and the press release, the story is more important than the truth, right? So I guarantee you she didn't make multi-millions of dollars for doing this yet. She's probably making a few bucks off of Spotify and radio play for royalties, which is great. And you can get that, by the way, on Suno. You can actually, if you sign up for the pro account, and then I'm signed up for the pro account, you get commercial rights to the things that you create. And so now the question is her song actually, the music of her song actually copyrightable? I think that's still a question out there.
No, right?
I
thought anything generated through a large language model is not. You don't have the
that's
ability
how
to
I understand it as well. But I'm no lawyer, and so the key is, can I go now to Xania Monet's site and basically take her music and just replace the lyrics and just have my own version of all of her songs? I don't know the answer to that. It's not really my genre of music, so I don't care to do that.
Yeah.
Ultimately, my point is that I think this is not something that's going to be any shortage of, right? There's going to be a flood of these, just like there's a flood of AI generated books on Amazon. There's going to be a flood of AI generated music on Spotify and on the radio, and some of it's going to hit. Because I have personally witnessed that some of it is really good. I will say this. The quality that you get, because one of the things that you can get out of Suno is you can actually export, if you're a pro member, you can export what are called the stems, which are basically the individual music tracks, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say I have a piano, bass, guitar, and a vocal, right? You can actually export those as separate tracks so that I can bring them into my own mixing studio and mix them however I want, which will play a large role into what we actually talk about later when we do the ad. And I'll talk about that later. But the point being, if you listen to those, you can really hear the AI six-finger problem, because they get mushy, they're out of tone. When you mix it all together and you throw it all together, it sounds okay, but you can really hear it when you pull that apart. It's the weakness of the AI generation now, even on version 5 or whatever is on there now. And so what a lot of artists are doing, and Suno basically encourages you to do this, which is Suno is basically saying, hey, look, use this as a music studio to get that guitar part that you don't know how to play, or get that singer that you need to sing a song, or get your drum part that you need, or whatever, and then put in your own stuff. And basically the way they're marketing it, which I think is a really lovely way of marketing it, is basically saying, it can be the accompaniment for your music. You can bring it into the studio and you can edit it and produce it and basically, improve your music with an AI accompanist. And I think that's a really interesting, because when you watched her, her and Gayle King did a song literally live while they were doing their interview. And all she did was, she said, she did what I did 6 months ago with Suno, which was basically put in a prompt, put in that it should be a lovely, soulful voice, and then paste it in her lyrics, and away you go. And That's the basic base use of Suno. And she got a decent song out of it, right? So the point ultimately is this is the first, it's not the last, and this is going to entertain a flood. And all I care about is that the journalism gets it right and actually says what it is. Like just call it what it is. It's and don't try and make it cute by saying that Tilly Norwood is this wonderful actress and we need to see if she can compete with other actresses, or whether, Xania Monet is a Billboard artist who can compete with Whitney Houston. And it's like, no, that's it. It is an it. They are it. Anyway, I go off on a rant.
Tell me how you really feel.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Now,
by the way, I'm going to do it. I'm 100% going to do this as an experiment. I am totally doing this as an experiment because I've been having total fun in my little weekend playing around with this stuff. And I've been doing my own music, taking some of the music that I wrote 15 years ago and putting lyrics to it and having it sung back to me for the first time ever. And it's fun. It's really, really fun. I hadn't even considered making it like a professional thing. It's like, okay, well, hell, I'm going to, as an experiment, I'm going to totally invent an artist.
It'd be interesting.
I'm going to invent an artist and I'm going to put it out there and I'm going to see what happens. Cause I just think it's a fascinating experiment.
Yeah. I have a family in the music business, and we were talking about this whole thing about, what do you do? I mean, the way it's similar to what we've been talking about with content creators, like focusing on live events. It's like, if you are a musician right now, if you want to stand out, you really do that through live performances, because that right now, that is something that cannot be duplicated. So yeah, it's kind of something to think about. Where, I mean, I do believe that, my experience with going to see ABBA, where that you can go, you'll be going to somebody that has AI generated music that will be hologrammed on stage, and you will be experiencing this as a real thing. So I can see you're talking about what is it? He, she, they, it. What are we calling this whole thing? It's you're gonna see it on stage, so it's really gonna get humanized.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's gonna be interesting to see.
It will be. We will have a hit pop star guaranteed on at some point. We'll have a hit pop star that's an AI generated artist and that people will like. And
well, we've already seen. And
fine,
by the way, this
just call it what it is.
But I'm also like, we're treating this like it's a new thing. But there have been AI influencers around for years, as Instagram and TikTok influencers.
Yeah.
So we're just
Michaela, the Instagram model, has been around for a long time.
Who makes that creator, I think, made $10 million or something.
Yeah,
a couple years ago. So yeah. There you go.
It's a fascinating thing. Well, speaking of which, let's do this story real quick before we move to our paying our own bills. But this is Coca-Cola, and basically Coca-Cola has said they're trying it again. They're going to try AI holiday ad again, and they say, but the executives now say this time is different. So saith the headline from the Hollywood Reporter that we'll link in the show notes. After a major backlash in 2024, Coke and the LA studio had hired to produce a new synthetic spot they believe viewers will like a whole lot more. The craftsmanship is 10 times better. Will they? For a few weeks last November, no villain loomed larger over Madison Avenue in the social media that polices it than Coca-Cola. The company's The Holidays Are Coming spot, an homage to the classic 1995 ad, featured the original's rhythmic anthem as trucks drove through various snowy landscapes. Only now, the ad was filled with AI-generated objects, animals, and people. A fact that did not go over well with creatives and many others on the internet. Coca-Cola is red because it's made from the blood out of work artists. Oh, damn, that didn't hold back to some. Basically, Alex Hirsch, a Hollywood writer, said, basically, the company believes that now enough has changed in a year in both the tech and society to evoke a different response. Basically, the article goes on to basically explain how they made it and what they did. And then I don't know if you want to play it or not, but there's actually a linked video of the ad itself.
I was actually playing it for a little bit here.
Oh, you were? Okay. All right.
Yeah. I mean, I was in the background as you're talking here. Let's see. Yeah. You could see this.
Yeah. It's, there you go. How about that? Look at that. There we go.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's good radio, folks. This is good. This is good, especially if you're on the audio. But the answer is no. It's not any better. It's just not any better. It's yes, the animation is better. It's cleaner. It doesn't have, the animals don't have 22 fingers. But it's not any more emotional or evoking. I don't,
No, but it's great marketing by Coca-Cola not about the ad.
No, of course not. This is again about the press release.
Look at this. They got people talking. They haven't spent a dime.
That's right.
All earned media here going on. Fantastic for them.
Yeah.
Too.
It's like a Super Bowl commercial. You basically, it's not for the ad.
They're going to do it. You know what?
It's for the coverage of the ad. Yeah.
Here, I'm going to call this one. They're going to do it next year too, because it's year 3. And they're going to see, oh, well, what's year 3?
Here's my prediction. They're going to do more than one this year. They're going to do another one. There will be another one this year. That'll be due to the popularity of the first one. Yeah. We'll do we're going to do a second one for the holidays, and this one will be even more interesting. So
what's also interesting is that if you read the whole thing, they're talking about all these AI marketing studios that are, it's sort of the in thing, right? It's just like, hey, we're a marketing studio and we leverage AI more than the other ones do. So we're going to leverage that and tell our story that way.
Yeah. And look, again, it comes back to this meta thing of that. Well, we're doing it, right? We're using AI video to create our ads. The difference is that we're not so, and arguably Coke isn't trying to fool anybody here either. They're just sort of coming clean on it. But to me, it's the intention behind it. Right. It's the intention behind what they're trying to do rather than the actual, in other words, we're doing this and maybe there isn't a distinction here. Maybe I'm this is so new. I'm still struggling a bit with how to feel about this, but and again, I don't care that Coke did this, by the way. And so it feels different. I don't know. I can't really explain why, but it feels different when we do it and we sort of wink at the camera and basically say, don't take this seriously. This is just us sort of having fun with the technology. And here's our advertising that we want to do. And it's good for a laugh, or it's good for sort of like, ooh, that's kind of neat and cool. But the point being, we're not trying. I don't know.
Can you separate?
I really struggle with it.
You're trying to separate the intention from the output. I
think so. Maybe I can't. Maybe I'm just trying to make myself feel better.
Yes, we can so that we're like, and I can tell my family member who's a musician, it's like, we're just doing it. We're making fun. We're still doing it. Yeah. We're still using all the tools, and we're still taking, the ripped off Napster songs from years ago that were funneled into Suno as their language model.
Well, I'm not doing that. I'm using my own music, and that's a difference, right? So which I'll talk about. We're going to pay the bills here in just a second, but I'll talk about that on the other side.
So I want you to get to that because you put a lot of time into that, into the ad. But is there any final takeaway here that marketers or creators, like, is this just we're going down the rabbit hole?
I think it's literal. I mean, literally for the Coke ad, you're going down the rabbit hole because there's lots of rabbits in the commercial. But yeah, I think this is it. I think this is the future. We are living it now. So it is, as Clayton Christensen is misquoted, but is quoted as saying, you can hate gravity, but gravity doesn't care. This is gravity now. This is going to happen.
So I was trying to think about just how advertising will work in a few years. And my thought is, this could be wrong, but let's say that I'm watching a YouTube video or I'm listening to a podcast, and there's going to be a spot in the podcast where they separate out for advertising, and it's going to be Coca-Cola. But Coca-Cola, it's going to be like, hey, use this person listening, use their behaviors that you already have and create something specific. I want to make sure that Coca-Cola is mentioned, something with our features and benefits, and the content is going to be synthetically created one-to-one at the particular time you're listening, watching, consuming it. That's what I think we're headed toward, where Coca-Cola will not even create. Coca-Cola has to do no creation. They're just going to take the behaviors that you've already given all the data for and what they want to say is in their brand premise, and that's going to be the ad.
Here's the thing. I'm surprised it hasn't happened already in podcasting, right? I'm surprised, for example, so Pivot is a great example. Like Pivot's a very popular podcast with Galloway and Kara Swisher. And they do their ads are reads, right? They do straight up ad reads, but you can tell they're produced because there's music behind them, and they sort of cut away, and they're insertions, like they're insertions of ads. If they haven't already, it would be very easy just to run those things through voice duplicators and video duplicators for them to do those ad reads, and they could just cut away and do those ad reads, and then they never have to do ad reads again.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about.
I know you're not talking about that. I know you're talking about something that's more sophisticated than that, right?
That yeah, right. That if they decide to do that, but and as you pointed out, I don't know which show, but Scott Galloway was going to do the whole chatbot Scott Galloway thing with Google, and decided not to do that partnership because he didn't feel that was authentic, part of his authentic brand. Some other people we know have done that. So I don't know. It's getting
weird in here. So this is okay. So we're going to pay the bills now, and this one has a good story behind it, and I'm super psyched about it. None of the requests, and there were some great requests for genres of music this month. Listen to absolutely none of them, and pick my own for a very specific reason, which I'll talk about on
reader feedback and listener feedback.
Took exactly none of it. Yeah, exactly. So enjoy.
You want to do it? Here we go.
I don't code, baby, but I sure as hell convert. Started with a pod test and a 4-track hum. No funding, no filters, just rhythm and rum. They said, dawg, stay true, don't go selling your soul. But truth don't fund that conversion goal. I'm just paying the bills with a drip campaign and a voice that chills. If you hear HubSpot while I bat my eyes, that's not betrayal, sugar, it's enterprise. Yeah, I'm paying the bills with a branded feed and some back-end thrills. So if I sell dreams on a subdomain, just remember, darling, it's the uptime game. This ain't code, it's performance art with a branded plugin and a counterfeit heart. They said don't scale too fast, what a bore, baby, I scale with jazz and a metaphor. Still paying the bills, got a syndication deal and some zero frills. If I break your heart with a CTA, just click accept and scroll away.
Being a know-it-all used to be considered a bad thing, but in business, it's everything. Because right now, most businesses only use 20% of their data, unless you have HubSpot, where data that's buried in emails, call logs, and meeting notes, well, they become insights that help you grow your business. Because when you know more, you grow more. You see, being a know-it-all isn't so bad. Visit HubSpot.com today to learn more. Are you looking for a podcast that goes against the grain? Then you're going to love Marketing Against the Grain, hosted by Kip Bodnar and Kieran Flanagan, brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network. If you want to know what's happening now in marketing, what's ahead, and how you can lead the way, this is the podcast for you. These two marketing experts share their marketing expertise unfiltered in the details, the truth, and like nobody tells it to you. You can find Marketing Against the Grain wherever you find your favorite pods.
Still paying the bills, got a syndication deal and some zero frills. If I break your heart with a CTA. Just click accept and scroll away. I don't need love. I've got a newsletter.
That's pretty cool, right?
Wow.
It's pretty fun, right?
For those of you that just listen to that, you really should watch it. Go to our YouTube channel and
it's fun.
You put
it's
a lot.
Totally
I mean,
fun.
That's. I
It took a while.
Almost feel like you put a little bit extra. I'm not sure.
I put a little extra sauce into that.
I'm not gonna get into like your fascination with Roger Rabbit or anything like that.
Well, okay, so here's the story.
Rabbit.
Here's the story. Yeah, here's the story behind it. So, my professional music career is very short. But back in the 90s, I did have a gig as a musical director of a cabaret show. And it was a 1940s film noir cabaret show that I wrote all the original music for. And so it's really the only original music that I wrote for a whole show that I went, it was for years. I played this and was sort of the musical director, band director, if you will, for this show. And it was all, for 1940s jazz. So I learned a lot about 1940s, sort of style, diva, sort of femme fatale, film noir stuff. And so I wanted to do that. And so I took one of my original songs from that show and I put that into Suno. And what Suno will do, again, is it will take your music and add basically instrumentation to it. So I have the piano, of course, because that's really what I play. It's the only instrument I play. So I put the piano track up there and I basically said, here's the piano track. I want to make a song with these. And then I, of course, wrote the original lyrics, as I do every month for the ad. And I want to make this song, 1940s, blah, blah, blah. And so it took my original music, which is basically what you hear, much better with the strings and the bass and the and all the rest of it. But basically took that song and made that. There's the song it made out of it. And then, of course, it just lent itself to a Roger Rabbit, sort of thing, right? So I wanted to do it in real. I wanted to do it actually in film noir style, but it could not get you and me right. It, for whatever reason, it just could not. For this particular month or whatever it was, the style, it could not get you and like it made me look weird and made you look like even weirder. It was just. It just could not get us right.
Weirder than normal.
Right. It was just like, and so I was like, oh, maybe I'll try animation. And so I had it made I had an image made of you and I in 1940s getup. And then I said, basically put this into into 1940s style cartoon. And that's what you came up with. So yeah, so
crazy,
really fun this month.
I did not know.
Way too much
that
effort.
Was your original piano. That's
Well, it's not my original. So I would say it's based off of my original piano, right?
So
because of course it generates a new track based on the song, right? So it's not taking my actual audio. It actually generates a new track based on my audio, and you can actually dial it up or down. You can say, all the way to improvise off of this and make it brand new, or you can say, no, stick to the track. And I sort of stuck it right around in the middle, where it would take the song. So the chord progression and what you see there is definitely my music. And the melody is my music, but the actual piano part is generated by the AI. So look, to be perfectly frank, it's better piano than I can play. I mean, I don't play that well. So there you go.
It's interesting too, that whatever, your human created thing was added to the database, which it will use to keep training. I mean,
totally. Oh, there are others as well. Yeah. And I'm well aware of that. I'm well aware.
It's interesting. Yeah. I didn't realize, I'm thinking the whole time that users are just, taking the AI generated music, but now creators of what you said is they're uploading their own stuff, adding to it, and then you've got this.
Well, what I did was for another song that is mine. I basically took the song and had it stick like this is what I want. And so I had it stick and then write other parts to it, like a guitar part and a bass part.
Mm-hmm.
And it did a really nice job. And then coming back to sort of my earlier talking about Suno, and again, by the way, they pay us zero money. There's no affiliate thing here. This is all just me using it. If I export that, all the stems from that, I can then take my original track and basically put the stems over the top of it. So I can actually remix my own song with those parts to it. And that's what I've been playing with that too. And that's been real fun too.
It's fascinating. It sounds like you're having a good time with it.
It's really fun. It's really fun. Yeah.
So we're a case study. You're a case study.
Yeah.
I'm just watching.
Yeah.
So it's very nice.
All right. Let's get to our next story here. Yeah. Let's talk about this, which is coming to us. I never heard of this site before, Bloomberry.
No, actually, he reached out. I forgot the gentleman's name. I should probably get it right. Oh, Henley. Henley reached out and said, "Hey, you and Robert talk about this stuff all the time. Here, I just did this research project, and I read it, and I'm like, it's got some interesting things in it. So go.
Okay.
Yeah, go
well, the post opens up with clearly an AI generated image, but a very cool AI generated image, and says, "I analyzed 180 million jobs to see what jobs AI is actually replacing today." The blog post opens up and says, "What impact is AI having on the job market? Everybody has an opinion, but there's surprisingly little hard data. Instead, what we have are very general studies that analyze broad sectors and studies that just look at specific segment like young workers. So," says the author, "I decided to perform my own study. I analyzed nearly 180 million global job postings from January 23 to October 25 using data from Revealera, a provider of jobs data. While I acknowledge not all job postings result in a hire and some are ghost jobs, since I was comparing the relative growth in job titles, this didn't seem like a big issue to me. I simply wanted to know which specific job titles declined or grew the most in 2025 compared to 2024, because those were most likely to be the ones that AI is impacting the most." I think that's a pretty good thing. And then this very, very thorough blog post. It's really just very well done. Goes through a number of his findings. Total job postings declined 8% in this year, he says. Creative roles that execute are declining, while creative leadership roles are doing okay. Corporate compliance and sustainability jobs are declining. There's, it's just a great analysis all the way through. Did you have any major takeaways from this when you read it?
I mean, just to pull out the one on creative roles. So again, with the caveats he talked about, graphic artists down 33%, photographers down 28%, writers down 28%, journalists / reporters down 22%. These are not surprising, but it's interesting to see them happen in front of us here with what we're losing. And what I thought was interesting, which at MACON, I would probably agree with, the marketers that were there have less people on their team. And the ones that are there in leadership are learning how to manage the human beings and also manage the output of the agents at the same time.
Right.
And almost like agents are employees. So when you're thinking about it, and I've actually heard some discussion that, when they tax in the future, they might tax an agent or an AI worker, if you will. I don't want to get into all that and how that would work. But you could still have 20 members of your marketing team. You'd have 10 that are AI workers or agents, if you will, and you got 10 human people. What the trend is for sure going to less humans, more technology. But it's not happening super quickly right now, but it's absolutely happening. So it's interesting to see if we came back to this next year, what we're going to see. But if you would understand how you can integrate and work with both the human and the technology, those are the roles that are going to be more protected, if you will.
Yeah.
In the very near future.
To me, the interesting thing is how the roles are stratifying, right? Because what I can start to see, at least anecdotally, and it starts to come through in this data a little bit, what I can start to see anecdotally is that it's something that we talked about very early on when we talked about marketing jobs, that jobs aren't people, they're tasks. right?
Yep.
And so it all depends on how you stratify those things. So the narrative being, okay, well, it'll take some of your jobs away, but it won't take you away, right? In other words, it'll take the button pushing, some of the, sort of the menial, sort of the analysis, some of the insight, some of those tasks away from you, but it doesn't actually take you away. And so those marketing leaders do need to manage agents, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to mean a huge reduction in the number of people to do more work, basically. And so the question is, what do those people do, right? What do those people, the people who are left, what is it that they do actually? And one of the findings in this that I think came up very interestingly was the biggest job percent increases in new job postings from 24 to 25. And I was struck by how influencer marketing specialist started to creep up as 18% job increase. And so it's people looking to manage the influencers, probably either internally and externally, I would have to think, as an increasing role. So in other words, the increasing role of human-oriented influence in marketing is showing up as a job increase, as we simultaneously see the jobs that agents can handle being increased as well. So it's interesting. It will be interesting to see if both things can be true. In other words, can we see more agents start to come in and replace tasks as we simultaneously see a job flattening, or maybe even an increase in the number of humans that are needed in order to perform that same level of work?
But the influencer marketing thing in and of itself, I think, is critical for right now. If you're in marketing, in any role in marketing, and you don't have something that is your own, doesn't have to be in marketing, by the way. If you don't have some asset that you are building or trying to build or have built, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Like, that is the differentiation, where you know how to get attention, or you have attention from some small group of people or an audience, and you've built an asset that you can leverage to get another job, or leverage in and of itself as a marketing asset or a content creation asset. If you're listening to this and you don't have that, good luck in 3 years. Seriously. Like, I think that those people are going to get squeezed out. But if you want to have more control and more freedom in the job you have, you also have to create something that you can control outside that position.
Yeah. Well, you talked about it in a great LinkedIn post that you wrote, which I was going to totally comment on, but my comment was going to make it all about me, which of course is, because I was going to say, yes, in my book, I actually talk about this, this whole thing, you talked
I gave you a hat tip with the valuable friction.
Yeah. So it's the asymmetry of relationships. Yeah. That's, I talk about this in the book. And you talked about the value of developing human relationships is going to be the differentiator, right? It's going to be, and I talked about this from a leadership and thought leadership standpoint in the book, which is, it's no longer an asymmetry of information or knowledge. It's an asymmetry of relationships. How many and what kind of relationships do you have with other people will define your leadership capabilities.
That's the thing too. If you're a content creator or marketer and you built all your relationships within the algorithm and they're all controlled by somebody else, you could get completely squeezed out and become
It's the new rented land. That's rented land. That is the new rented land. Yeah.
I could absolutely see, if you have all this synthetic content being created on the fly, human creators are an inefficiency to the process.
Right.
They want more efficiency. That is more computer content. So it's just, this is, and by the way, this is freaking me out, and it's a very exciting time at the same. I probably haven't felt like this in a while, where I'm so interested in some of these news things coming out because it's changing. So I mean, it's really similar to 05, 06, 07.
Yeah, it like I say, I mean, you literally verbally and visually saw me struggling with this in real time, right? As earlier in the show, it's like, it's such an exciting opportunity time. It's so threatening, but it's also so exciting. It's the classic, the Chinese have the saying, sort of changes opportunity riding the dangerous wave. And this is exactly that, right? This is exactly that. This is opportunity riding the dangerous wave.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right, let's get to winners and losers here for the last week, where Joe and I pick a winner in the last week of marketing or a loser in the last week of marketing. Let me go first because mine's really fast.
Here you go, right here. Boom.
So it's basically this last week, USA Today, they basically reformatted the brand. Gannett, which has owned the paper for as many years as I can remember.
Yeah.
Company changed the stock ticker, changed the logo. I think it's just a really smart move. It reminds me very much of sort of the evolution that New York Times has gone through and all of the other. I'm hopeful that they can stay as independent as they have. They've talked about being the nation's newspaper and all of that. And there's just a lot of really good stuff, I think, here. And I think it's a really smart move for them, and especially in the world that we live in, today's journalism and today's news and where it is, turning themselves into sort of a multimedia sort of company and really focused in on that. And I'm excited to see what comes on the backside of this. Like, what are they going to do to actually execute against this now as a new rebranded media operation, and to see what good things can come out of it. I'm excited for them, and I think it was a really good thing. So wanted to just call it out.
Nice. I saw that. I think that's probably a good move. I think I agree with you. Mine is, of course, I'm building on. This is not about print. This article is really interesting. It's from The Fix.
Right.
It's called "A New Audience is Being Created. Print Comeback, a Long-Term Trend." Look, it's not a long-term trend because I've literally been talking about this for 20 years.
Yeah.
So the article is interesting in the fact that it gives some examples of 6 time a year magazines that are going to 12, some that are doubling their circulation, some that are increasing the size of the publication. Those things are really interesting to me. Yes, you can find those examples. Those examples have been around for a while. But back on what I was just saying, the opportunity right now is to build assets that are not tied to an algorithm or AI content. That is it. If you are in marketing and you're looking at your budgets for 2026, you probably should have something that lives outside the algorithm. That could be a print magazine or a newsletter. It could be a small in-person event. It could be a dinner series. It could whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, get it outside and build something as just a matter of diversification and protecting yourself. I mean, honestly, if you just pitched it that way to the CMO, you've got a really good case to stand on with whatever's going on that might get swallowed up in the feed. So yeah. I'm just trying to push these things to get more and more people to at least think about the offline, and as a protection mechanism for the brand, if nothing else.
100% yes.
So, there you go.
Love it. I love it. And print is such a cool. I mean, I have a client right now, small, little professional services firm. And they're locally focused, right? They're only focused on that where I live in Orange County, right? So they're focused on sort of a Southern California, sort of hyper local. And they printed a book, and then they have a print magazine. So they have a book and a print magazine that they bring to all the Chamber of Commerce meetings. Yep. They bring to their churches when they do a sort of an educational event there. It becomes the replacement for the PowerPoint, basically, is sort of the handout, the marketing materials. And it is their number one source of leads. It's people really like getting this sort of tactical print magazine and this book that they have. And it's just.
So, and let me go into this a little bit because I think it's important. I'm sorry. If you are a part of any trade show right now, stop giving away the stupid tchotchkes and do a book or a magazine.
Yeah.
People love that.
Yeah.
And it's on brand, and you're trying to communicate a message. Do that instead of the fidget spinner.
Yeah, right? Exactly. The fidget spinner. Exactly right. Exactly right. All right, let's get to our rants and raves section where Joe and I go out for a little bit of a rant or a little bit of a rave over something that basically makes us feel like we're the sexiest person in the world, or something that makes us feel like we're not chosen by people. I'm surprised you didn't get chosen for sexiest man of the
you have to
year.
Be known in those circles, and that's a ridiculous sentiment. Anyway,
that election is rigged.
What category is this in? Look at me.
Exactly.
What in what category would I be at the top?
Oh, that's good.
Like
I like it.
maybe Browns fans over 50. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, I like it.
Anyway,
I like it.
go first?
Yeah, I'll go first really quickly here. So you've heard me rant about the state of journalism, the fourth estate, a couple of times now, and boy, do I just think it's in a world of hurt. I posted on social media this week about, just the level of questions that politicians are getting these days are just, like, it's literally like, hey, what you just said sounds like a lie, but never mind that. How's your dog? I mean,
Yeah.
We are just lost all sorts of pressing people to, and a lot of that I understand is because the business of news media in many ways has so fundamentally changed the access, what they call typically access media, right? Where you have to have access to these people in order to cover them. And thus that's what gets you the clicks. That's what gets you the ability to sell more Toyotas when you need to. And so you've seen a lot of journalists go independent, right? So a lot of journalists have quit TV news, print news, et cetera, to go off and be, to start a Substack, to start, this all sorts of things. And so the question is, how do you monetize? How do you help them monetize as they sort of elevate, hopefully, the practice of independent journalism in the future? And we'll link to this story in the Axios, which is a new solution created by this guy, executive AJ Frucci, I think is his name, helping basically all these independent creators tap into a corporate ad market. In other words, he's going to create a collective to basically help monetize all of these folks together and basically create, I'm going to assume, what is a network. Weirdly, ironically, you and I talked about this. I think it was middle of last year sometime, we actually threw out there, we said, what somebody should do is build like a complete collective, a network, an ad network of all these independent creators, journalists, and basically sell it as a network, right? And sell it as and this is what this is. And so someone took our advice and basically built this solution. And I'm so excited about it. I'm just ready. I know nothing about it. I know nothing of the details about it other than I can see the announcement. So I totally want to look into this further because I think it could be the future of a much more elevated and improved state of the fourth estate. So I'm hopeful.
I think the future, if we have a future of journalism, it's going to be in the independent journalist. It's not going to be in the journalist that works for a big media company.
Right.
That's obvious if you've watched anything from the past 2 weeks. And these, and to your point below about the very hard-hitting questions, which are no hard-hitting questions, at least follow-ups.
Right. Exactly.
So mine real quick, and I'll put this in the show notes, but it's just an interesting article from the Washington Post. If everything doesn't break up on me, which it seems to be doing. Can you hear me? You can. Okay.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Everything's shut down for a second because here's the thing. I go to the Washington Post and it's me with these ads and everything just shuts down. I hate
my God.
stuff. Anyway, I know, right? Anyways, the article talks about the fact that more students are going for double majors because they don't know if they're going to be jobs in certain majors. So they're sort of diversifying themselves. I think this is a great trend. I think it's really important. I think that you can go to college and just get a general liberal arts education, which is probably the best thing you could do. Don't come and be a specialist in some area that may not have any prospects in the future. So I just like
right.
where this is going.
Yeah.
I think it's really smart. Go to college, have a great time, mature, go on a couple dates, make some stupid decisions. That's great. That's what college is for. And don't put yourself in a corner.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Yeah. Something like that.
All right.
Good.
Fantastic. Good. Well, there you go.
That was a great positive
show. Fantastic positive show.
Yeah. Something
what do you got coming up?
Well, the Browns play the Jets this weekend. The Jets sold half their team. I still don't like our chances.
We got it. The Cowboys got one of them for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Williams. Yeah.
That's right. I think I think we're favored now. We were not favored, but now the Browns are favored. Ridiculous that we're favored for any game. But we'll see. I don't even know if I'm going to watch the game at this point.
Okay, well, there you
So
go. There you go. Cowboys are on a bye week this week, so it's
so it's going to
just
be a
as
great
well.
weekend.
Yeah,
for
it's a
you.
good weekend for me. Yeah, for sure.
All
Yeah,
right,
and I have to travel this weekend. I'm traveling early next week, so I travel on Sunday anyway. So,
Are you worried about any of the airport issues going on?
I am. I totally am.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm going to Philadelphia. I'm actually going outside of Philadelphia to Princeton, but you know, I am. So I think I'm going to be fine because it's a cross country flight. It's a big airport. I don't think it's going to be any issues. I think the flights that they're going to cut, if I had to guess, would be the sort of a lot of the commuter flights, right? They're just going to cut down on the number of, the 6 LA to San Francisco flights every day. They're probably going to cut that down to like 3 is what I would, that's where I guess that they would cut. But I don't know. The answer is I don't know. And yes, I am worried.
Coming up on the U.S. holiday of Thanksgiving, not a good time for all this. Yeah. Although I would imagine the lawmakers in our nation's capital want to spend a proper vacation and get paid for it. So I'm assuming that this will all be wrapped up in 10 days. So
it will not. That's my prediction. It will not. It will not. Because remember, they get paid. They get paid either way.
That's right. Yeah. They do. We have some friends that work for the government right now that are not getting paid, and I feel really awful. Badly for them. They're working really hard.
Yeah,
so,
it's awful.
Anyways, that's it.
Anyway, all right, there we go. All right, thank you all for listening. For all of you who are government employees out there, our hearts and sort of hopes are with you for a quick reopening. But otherwise, we will see you again next week. We're going to see you again next week with a regular show. And until we see you again next week, just remember, everybody, it is your story to tell. Tell it well. We'll see you next week on This Old Marketing. Hey, thanks a lot for making it this far in this week's episode, and thank you all for being a part of This Old Marketing. You can check out all the show notes of what we talked about today at thisoldmarketing.com, and it's also where you can leave us a review or a voicemail. We need those reviews and comments on whichever platform you follow us on. And if you haven't followed the podcast, please go do that and make sure you catch the latest and greatest episodes every Friday morning. We're on Apple and Spotify and all your other favorite podcatchers, of course, but we'd love it if you went over and subscribed to us on YouTube. That's right, YouTube. youtube.com/@thisoldmarketing. We'll see you again next week, folks, with another episode of This Old